So, The Conjuring Last Rites. This is the full review on it, and what I thought of the movie. So, where can I start? I love how it tells everything about Ed and Lorraine Warren, where it goes back to when they were very young, and when she was pregnant. I thought that was cool, how they explained that. Now they had Judy. And then they get to the mirror thing and it ends up, causing Lorraine to go in labor. And for a minute, the baby comes out as dead. But then after that, it gets revived somehow. And then, basically after that, it cuts to the Smurls family. And the Smurls family is, I like the, people who played them. The family was okay. What kind else? But eventually, the grandfather ends up giving that his granddaughter the mirror, and basically, the mirror wanted not them. It tried to find. Well, technically, it tried to find its way. Well, I wouldn't say find its way, but basically it wanted Judy all along. Because when it first encountered her when she was in Lorraine's stomach, that's why she went into labor and almost ended up killing her. So, yeah, I'll get to that at the very end. This might be a long review. What else? Then basically you find out that Judy's dating a guy named Tony, which is basically accurate. And it's only been 6 months since they started dating, and then he pulls out the ring, and Ed has heart problems since the third movie, because he ended up getting the thing, having a heart attack from the third movie with all the shit going on in that movie. I fucking forget what happens in that movie, but I'll do a review on it, another, But Ed kind of doesn't like him at first, but he appreciates him in the end. And you get to the part where Father Gordon goes to try to help out the family, and then he puts holy water and stuff on the steps and all around in the basement, and then it starts doing the thing up in the air. I don't know what you call it, evaporation. And he goes upstairs saying there's something in his house, and then you let the church know, and the church will listen to him. So basically, he goes to the church, and he tries to get in, and then it blacks out, and the evil entity ends up killing him, while forcing him to hang himself. Well, his crucifix ends up burning, and then he ends up hanging himself. And then you get to the part where his funeral is, which is, I like Father Gordon. He was in every Conjuring movie. Also, the guy who played Father Gordon also played in every Insidious, well, not every Insidious movie, I think. I don't know. But Ed and Lorraine get the news that shit happened. There's one part where Judy's trying on a wedding dress and ends up seeing herself and ends up getting choked by herself. Then there's another part where, what else? I kind of lost my train of thought. I'll probably remember when I remember it. But they eventually find out that Judy went to the Smurls family's house, because she put two and two together why Father Gordon was there in the first place, is to help them. And, so, Ed and Lorraine end up helping them because their daughter convinced them that they do not run away from fights, and they help the people. So they end up doing that, and Tony and Ed are talk about how Tony used to be a police officer, ends up getting a gun in his face, and he quit because he thought he would die and not be able to be with Judy and stuff. But let's get to the very end of the movie. I don't want to bore people out if you made it this far. So, they end up doing all the when has to start first happening, and then you get to the part where there's one part where the father, Smurl, I don't know what you call him, he ends up getting lifted in the air, and then he ends up getting the fucking entity almost tries killing him. But there's another part where, you know, the behind the baby doll, that woman, that you see that woman, and then that's the woman that ends up trying to hurt him. If that makes any sense, I'm trying to remember as best as I can, so do not, do not flag me or anything, make fun of me, because I'm trying my best. So, yeah. So that ends up happening. I got jump scared from that part. Judy ends up getting possessed because it wanted her all along. They try carrying the mirror out of the attic, and like Ed said, it gets heavier and heavier because it's fucking. I forget what he said, but he said it gets heavier and heavier for some reason. Then it ends up the sheet coming up completely, and the guy ends up falling down the stairs. The father Snarl, he ends up seeing the entity, and he ends up falling, and then the thing could have cut his fucking legs and shit off, but good thing it didn't, and it missed. Well, he moved his legs in time. Once Judy is possessed, she gives her own father, well, the demon ends up getting her own father a heart attack, and basically, at the very end, she goes upstairs, and you find out she's hanging, because the demon wants the soul of her, which is crazy. But another part is, there's an Annabelle doll that she ends up seeing, well, the Annabelle doll, and ends up turning into a fucking tall thing, which is creepy as shit. It ends up turning into a tall thing, ends up chasing her, which I thought was kind of goofy. But Lorraine ends up getting pushed down the stairs. But the one thing I forgot to mention was that they talk about how a woman was brutally murdered by her own husband for having an affair with another man. The husband ends up killing her with the axe, which is fucked up. Really fucked up. Lorraine's down there, and then she sees the woman, and then it shows her getting the axe in the head. And that guy that's laughing, that looks like Bill Skarsgård. I wouldn't even be surprised if that was Bill Skarsgård playing in that role. But she ends up going through blood and shit, and then Tony ends up helping her out. Then they end up saving Judy, but the guy her boyfriend ends up getting fucking crushed by the mirror. He's fighting for his life, and then they do that little thing, like they're saying Lucy Lockett, you know. But at the end, they survive. They have a wedding. And basically, Lorraine has a vision of how their future will go. And, yeah. That's basically it. I don't know if I missed anything. Oh, yeah. All the people that they helped out from all the other movies were there. Same with James Wan, because it's technically the final Conjuring movie. Which is sad, but yeah. Can't believe it happened in Pennsylvania, where I live. Well, Pattinson? I don't know how to fucking say it. Pitterson. But, overall, the movie, for a final Conjuring movie, it was great. I enjoyed it very much. I can't wait for it to come on HD. And, yeah, it sucks this is the final Conjuring movie, because all the other ones were good, except for the third one, which I really did not, it wasn't really that scary, that's why I didn't like it that much. But, overall, if I'd give this movie a rating, I'd give it like a But since I enjoyed it so much, I'll probably give it like a 9. Because I'm a Conjuring fan, and obviously, I'll give it that rating. But overall, the movie's fantastic. It should get a better rating than what the critics rated. Because, man, they gone all out for this movie. The final Conjuring movie. I was hoping to see Valak for one last time, but no. Also, it kind of reminds me of the first Conjuring in a way, because of how the setting is. And, oh yeah, another part is the mirror ends up spinning and they end up fixing it, and yeah. But, yeah, that's pretty much about it. I know this was a long review, like a fucking 11 minutes. If I missed anything else, I guess let me know. I won't include images because the movie hasn't been, like, I'll probably end up reviewing it again. Well, I don't know. Because there's no images of the fucking thing, but I'll probably include, like, maybe 2 or 3 or 4. But, yeah, overall, that's about it. And, yeah. Conjuring Last Rites.